Let me guess, no one's watching your video ads on social? That's because you're doing it wrong. Try using the CATT formula and see instant results.
That ad was clearly a joke, but this formula isn't. If your video ads on social media have basically stopped working, you're not the only one with this problem. The best way to capture your audience's attention in video is to tell a story. But how do you do that in 2019 for a mobile-first, newsfeed-scrolling generation that isn't gonna watch for more than 3 seconds anyway? You might notice that the viral video ads that were a big trend just a couple years ago, like the Dollar Shave Club and chatbooks, haven't been as popular in the past year or so. And that's because as the market becomes more saturated, our wants and needs change. And the way that we tell a story through video in 2019 is really different than it was just a few years ago. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down for you the CATT formula, which is 4 very specific elements that your video needs to tell a story for a mobile-first video ad. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you examples of companies who are using this formula right now to create their video ads for social media so that you can see exactly what they should look like. And make sure that you grab the free social media video optimization checklist that I've included in the description below. It's a really great free resource to help you make sure that your videos are optimized for social media. So let's get started. I'm Sivan Felder, and if you are looking to create engaging videos on a budget, then this is the channel for you. Hit subscribe and your check is in the mail. I'm kidding, there's no check, but you should hit subscribe anyway. So what is the CATT formula? Well, the C starts for character. The first and most important aspect of your social media video ad is that it needs a main character. A face or a person that we feel like we recognize helps us actually concentrate and focus on the video. And this is incredibly important for social media where we're interacting with people, not products. So if you start your video ad with some sort of product placement, people are not going to pay attention because that's not what we came to social media to see. And when it comes to mobile video, it needs to be very simple. And there shouldn't be a fancy set or lots of people in the scene because it makes it complicated and overwhelming. The more clear it is that we're looking at a face, the more it will grab our attention. 1 to 2 main characters, simple, and they should be the center of the scene. The A in the CATT formula stands for authenticity. This is really important because customers have become much more savvy in sniffing out ads. Because we're so used to seeing organic content generated by friends and family members, as soon as we see something that looks different than what we are expecting to see on social media, the more likely it is to trigger a response in our brain that this is an ad and I don't want to watch it. Now, I do not mean that you should trick people into thinking it's not an ad and then try to sell them something at the end. But what I do mean is that highly produced, cinematically shot videos stand out and not necessarily in a good way. So the more you can avoid having your videos look like they were shot in a studio setup with lighting and cameras and actors, the more likely you are to actually get your audience to pay attention. That's why you'll notice that nowadays a lot of ads are actually being run that look like they were just shot on someone's phone. It's actually more likely that people will get past the first 3 seconds if it doesn't look highly produced. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about investing $100K in a social media video campaign or in a commercial, because at the end of the day, it might not have the most bang for your buck. And that a video that you shot on your phone with some basic lighting probably might get even more engagement. The T stands for text. On social media, we've really become visual listeners. We're not actually even listening with audio, and text has actually replaced audio in many cases. There are 2 really important facts you need to know. The first is that 85% of videos on social media are watched without sound. And the second is that 80% of people find it irritating when the company runs an ad with the video sound on autoplay. At the end of the day, most people aren't listening with sound and they don't want to be forced to listen with sound, which is why including text in your video is so important. Now, if you want to learn how to create subtitles for your videos for free, check out this video. But even more than that, you need to be having words appear on the screen as if they were native to the video. An example of a company that's just done this really well is Artlist.io. You can check out their ad here, but basically they write out the entire voiceover in very simple text. And that actually engages audiences much more because you can hear what people are saying without actually having to listen. And again, stick around to the end where I show you some examples of this done really well. And the last T is timing. Let's be real. No one is watching your video ad for very long. And even if some people are, you shouldn't be making 2-minute social media video ads. The more you can pack a punch in the first 3 seconds and really get out before 15 seconds, the more likely your audience is to engage because they'll actually stick around to see most of the ad. In general, I would suggest keeping your video ad between 15 and 30 seconds. 30 seconds being the maximum. Avoid wasting time on build-up or introducing characters or taking us on a journey. Just get in, get it over with, and get out. The shorter your ad and the more respectful you are of people's time, the more likely they are to watch and engage. Now, let's look at some examples of companies who are really doing this well and who are actually using this exact formula in their social media video ads. The first one we're going to look at is Monday.com. Monday.com is basically a task tracking platform. Now, they run lots of different types of video ads, but the the ones that they show on social media are really geared specifically to the platform. You'll notice that there's a main character that looks pretty relatable and not like a very polished actress. She takes up most of the scene, and it's really the focus of the scene is on her. Footage looks very authentic. It's mostly stop motion, and it looks like somebody could have shot it on their phone at the office. I don't have to watch with sound because there's very clear text telling me a story. And it's short, 15 seconds, and it was over. And I got the gist and didn't have to watch a 10-minute video. Another great example is BetterHelp, an app that helps you find therapists. Here you'll see that there's an ad that is very clearly having the faces of these characters take up the center of the screen, and there's not a lot going on. There's not a confusing set. There's text that's very clearly telling us what's happening. It looks like it was shot very simply. There's not a lot of cinematic lighting and fancy shots. There's even a punchline that you kind of laugh at the end when you realize that she's talking to a therapist on a video call and not in real life, but we got to the end because it was so short. Noom is a weight loss program for millennials, whatever that means. But their ads are really great. They take one very simple scene that has a person in it who's doing something, and they kind of tell you a whole story in just a few words. And it's short, 15 seconds, and it's over. So now you know why your video ads on social media aren't working and what you can do to change that. And the good news is that you don't have to reinvent the wheel or spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in budget to create them. All you have to do is grab your free social media video checklist in the description below to get started. I'm Sivan Felder, and I'll see you next week for another video.